Hello students, today we will be discussing one important topic, reaction of metal with acid. Generally, you know that the metal react with acid to liberate hydrogen gas. So here we are considering sodium, magnesium, these are the metals which can react with the acid to liberate hydrogen gas. Sodium, when it react with the H2SO4, then it form Na2SO4 and hydrogen gas is formed. Similarly, when magnesium react with the HCl, it forms the MgCl2 and hydrogen. But one more thing, one important matter you have to remember here, that when metal react with the nitric acid, concentrated nitric acid, it does not liberate hydrogen gas from the mixture. What happened there? Suppose magnesium is reacting with the nitric acid, then magnesium nitrate and hydrogen will be formed. But soon as hydrogen will be formed, concentrated nitric acid being a strong oxidizing agent, it will unreacted acid will oxidize hydrogen into the water. So hydrogen gas will not liberate from the reaction mixture. Now, in the next topic, we will be discussing here displacement reaction. What is this? When a more reactive metal will displaces the less reactive metal from its solution, that is known as the displacement reaction. To know the displacement reaction, you have to know about the activity series. According to the activity series, which is more reactive, that will displace a less reactive metal from its solution. Here zinc is more reactive than copper. So in that example, I have given that the zinc is displacing copper here from its aqueous solution of copper sulfate. So these are the displacement reaction, and in details displacement reaction you have read already in class 8, and also if you go through the NCERT book or other books whichever is available to you, it will be easy to understand. Just the point you remember, more reactive metal will displace the less reactive metal from its solution. That is the displacement reaction. Now, very important topic I am going to discuss here now today, that is the reaction of metal with non-metal, the introduction of bonding. So very carefully you will be listening this video, then it would be easy to understand what is chemical bonding. Let us take an example. You know, water is formed by the hydrogen and oxygen. So all we know these things. But have you ever thought how this hydrogen and oxygen, being a different atom, remains combined together? Obviously, there is an attraction force which holds hydrogen and oxygen. And this attraction force is named as chemical bonding. So how can we define a chemical bonding? So chemical bonding can be defined as the attraction force which holds the different atoms togetherly in a simple compound or in a single compound. Next question is coming, why element will form compound? If you look the noble gases do not form any compound, or actually they do not react with each other. So what is the reason behind it? All of you know, in that noble gases like helium, neon, argon, xenon, krypton, they have outermost shell filled with 8 electrons, or they have the octet fulfilled. So as they have complete octet, so they do not react with any elements. That means, see, when they have fulfilled their octet, it means that they get stability. So as they have got stability, so that they do not react with the other compounds. Helium also, they got duplet, and they, by getting duplet of electrons, they get stability. Now, one thing you have to remember, every species in this world want to get stability. Here, in case of chemistry, stability means, for element stability means, they have to attain 8 electrons anyhow. So, as all the elements want to get stability by attaining 8 electrons, so they have to form a chemical bond. So, modern view of the formation of chemical bond or by the compound is that every element want to get stability by lowering its energy. Stability means obviously lowering its energy. How? Just one simple example from daily life I am giving you. Suppose you are running whole days. After extensive running or extensive moving from one place to another place, from your home to school, school to home to tuition, etc., you get exhausted, and when you get exhausted, that means you go to bed and you just start sleeping. That means that sleeping in the bed, if we consider the stability, it occurs due to the lack of energy. That means you have actually become the lower energy species. That means, see, as your energy has got lower, so that you have got stability there. So in this way, every element of this world want to get stability by lowering its energy by the formation of a chemical bond. And there are the two modes of getting stability. In addition to other modes are there that we will be discussing in class 11, but in this class just I will be discussing here the getting of stability by two modes. One is that by gaining electron or by losing electron. How? Gaining electron or by losing electron, and the sharing of electron. The two different mode of getting stability we will be discussing, and according to that, the bondings are chemical bondings are classified into mainly two categories. One is the ionic bonding, another is the covalent bonding. Before it just starting the ionic bonding, you have to know about the electron dot symbol. Suppose sodium, how many electrons are there in their outermost shell? Only one electron. With the symbol of sodium, that is the Na, if you give just one dot anywhere around this sodium, that would be the electron dot symbol of sodium. And what is the significance of electron dot symbol? Electron dot symbol will help us to understand how many electrons are present in the outermost shell, and how many electrons is required to get more required to get stability. Also, it will determine the valency of the elements. So this is about the electron dot symbol. Now one more thing, which element will lose electron and which will gain electron, and which will share its electron. So first we will be discussing about the ionic bonding or the gaining and losing of electrons. Listen it very carefully. The elements which have 1, 2 or 3 electron respectively in their outermost shell, they will lose their electron to get stability. Suppose sodium, its electronic configuration, if you consider, what will happen there? 2, 8 and 1. That means outermost shell contain 1 electron. So if it required, if it want to get more stability, if it want to get stability, how many electron it has to accept? It has to accept 7 electron more. But it would be difficult for the nucleus like sodium to hold 18 electron which have only 11 proton over there. That's why it will not accept 7 electron, but rather it will be easy to lose its 1 electron from the outermost shell. So it will get stability very easily. Now if we consider the element like chlorine, which have the 7 electron in the outermost shell, for it will be very easy to accept 1 more electron. So in general, remember it, the metals which have their outermost shell contain 1, 2 or 3 electron, they will get stability by losing their electron, and they will form the monopositive, dipositive and tripositive ion respectively according to the number of losing electrons. Now if you consider, and that's why see the metals are considered as the electropositive in nature. Metals are considered as electropositive in nature because metal lose their electron to form the monopositive, dipositive, tripositive ion. Similarly, non-metals which have 5, 6 or 7 electron in their outermost shell, they will get 3, 2 or 1 electron to get stability. As a result, they will form tri-negative, di-negative and the mononegative anion, and that's why non-metals are considered as electronegative in nature. Now I will be starting here the ionic bonding. Ionic bonding here I will be showing you one animation or zip file so that you can easily understand these things. How? Let us consider that the sodium. How many electron is present in its outermost shell? Okay, let's start it from here. First, consider here the sodium. How many electrons are present? See, K cell contain 2 electron, L cell contain total 8 electron, and outermost cell M contain 1 electron. Similarly, I have taken another element fluorine. Fluorine, how many electrons are present? Total 9 electrons are present. So in K cell there are the 2 electrons and the L cell contain total 7 electron. Means sodium need to lose this 1 electron and fluorine needs 1 electron to get more stability. And now see here one zip file I will be showing you to understand this thing. See, sodium, it will transfer one of its electron to this fluorine. As a result, what will happen? Sodium will form positive and fluorine will form the negative anion. And so see, just look at here, electron transfer occur, and then it forms the positive and negative anion, and this positive and negative anion, they will attract each other to form a compound like the sodium fluoride. So I hope that this you have understood. See, clearly it's showing that the sodium is transferring electron and it forms the positive and fluorine form the negative anion, and then this will get attracted to each other. Follow the zip here. And one more thing I will be explaining here, that when this sodium plus and F minus will be forming, and due to this attraction force they will release one energy that is known as the lattice energy, and this, or the lattice enthalpy it is also called. So what is the definition of lattice enthalpy? You can note it in your notebook also, that this is the energy released when 1 mole of cation and 1 mole of anion will attract each other to form a stable compound. That is known as the lattice enthalpy. So see the process once again. I am just telling, the metal will lose electron and the non-metal will gain their electron, and they will form the positive and negative anion, and this positive and negative anion, they will be attracted towards each other by electrostatic force of attraction to form a stable compound. So this is about the formation of ionic compounds I have discussed here. So so many examples are given in the book, so you can try it, and if it is required, then I will give more cheap here to show that the formation of ionic bonding. Now let us discuss one more point, that what are the properties of ionic compound. Generally, you know that the ionic compounds are solid in nature. As between the positive and negative charge, there is a strong force of attraction. So what will happen? So it will happen there that they will remain strongly attracted to each other, and as they will remain strongly attracted to each other, then that means they will be solid in nature. And ionic compounds generally dissolve in water, because water has high dielectric constant. That's why ionic compound generally dissolve in water, or they dissolve in polar solvent. Ionic compounds have high melting point, as because the positive and negative ion, there is a strong force of attraction, so more amount of heat energy is needed to break this attraction force. As more amount of energy is needed to break this attraction force, so that they will have their melting and boiling point will be higher. Now, ionic solids generally do not conduct electricity in their solid state, but they conduct electricity in their molten state or in their aqueous solution. In the solid state, the cation and anion remain compact, and as a result, as there is existence of strong force of attraction, so that the ions are unable to move from their fixed position. As a result, they do not conduct electricity in their solid state, but they conduct electricity in their liquid state, means the molten state or in their aqueous solution. In the liquid state, what happens? The positive and negative anion go away from each other, and also they generally when they dissolve in water, then Na plus and Cl minus go away from each other, and it forms and it conduct electricity. So today in this video we have discussed only about one of the important topic, that is the formation of ionic bond. Go through this video and go through the NCERT book and the S. Chand book or the Dinesh publication book, whatever is available. So if anything is not clear from this video, please let me know in the comment box of this video, or also you can send me the message in my WhatsApp number also. So I hope that this video will help you to understand the formation of ionic bond. That's all.